Hello and welcome back to part 2 of the Limens of Belief, a fan-made scenario by No Aloha. Before we get back into our video, I just wanted to apologize for the audio quality that's about to attack your ears. I had the microphone on the wrong setting, so it was on the crappy laptop mic the whole time. I'm trying my best in post to kind of like reduce the amount of noise that's about to happen. But just wanted to warn you. So come on over and join me at the table, and we'll finish up part 2. We'll finish up The Limens of Belief by No Aloha. All right, everybody, welcome back to part 2. I had to step away for a bit, and sorry about that. This video took a little longer than I anticipated, but we're here, and we're now back. And the last thing we were doing is we just finished parlaying with this guy. We just finished discarding one of our emergency caches, I believe. And so now all we have to do sorry. Yep. So now all we have to do is we're discarding this Unexpected Courage because we finished the parlay with him, and we're going to get this Malformed Beast under our control. So let's go ahead and get that from the set aside. Malformed Beast is now in our control. Malformed Beast cannot be discarded if Malformed Beast is attached. Oh, we have the guy talking to us. If Malformed Beast is attached to a location, flip this card and attach that to the location instead. So we don't have any option to attach him to any of these locations. I guess we're just going to have to see what's going to happen next. So let's get our other act. All right, your familiarity with the arcane has you convinced. This blameless creature will be sufficient, amply so. It's a tool of evil, no doubt. Yet any tool can be repurposed with enough determination. The Undertaker is evidently satisfied of your involvement, yet he still looks at you with vile expectation. Well, make the offering, he demands, and be quick about it. My own work is not yet complete. So if we're at the mausoleum and we control the Chart Phalange and the Malformed Beast, we can advance. So we did this a little bit out of order, but it shouldn't have changed anything. It was getting late last night when I started this video, so hopefully now I have a fresher brain to go off of. So let's go ahead and continue. For our last action, we'll go ahead and move into the mausoleum. I don't know why this is going to be funky now. Okay, so for our last action, we'll go ahead and move into the mausoleum, and says if you're there, then we can go ahead and advance, and if we have all this stuff. The necessary items for your barrier spell are gathered and ready. All that's left to do now is reach the layer itself from the correct angle, of course. Discard each enemy at your house, Riverside, Miskatonic University, and the graveyard. Remove Professor Warren, Mr. Collins, your house, Riverside, Miskatonic University, and the graveyard from the game. Reveal the mausoleum. So we'll go ahead and do all this stuff first. We get rid of everybody, basically. Whoa. Get rid of everybody. I don't know why I did that. Lucky's been being a little funky today. Okay, and then we're going to go ahead and just put it all aside. Goodbye, everybody. And now what we have is the mausoleum. That's what we're left with. So we'll go ahead and reveal that for the act card. Put into play the set aside cellar, attic, hallway, and parlor. Put the study door asset into play attached to the hallway. So where are our last locations? We have all this good stuff. Let's do two at a time. Cellar, attic, hallway, and parlor. Put the study door asset into play attached to the hallway. So, there it is. That's going to go in the hallway. So what is this connected to? This is connected to cellar. This is connected to, well, I'm sure the attic goes up here, the hallway, attic, parlor. And this is connected to the hallway. Okay, let's get our next act card out. Following the Undertaker's instruction, you enter the inner crypts. According to him, the connections have been found, the gaps have been fortified, a path to the lair, to the house. Your own interest in this residential building is, after all, a dark mirror of the cult's own. Objective: if a barrier asset is attached to the parlor and no monster enemies are in the parlor, advance. So this is a threshold. So we don't have anything barrier-ish, but some of the cards can be flipped, so they might become barriers later on once we figure out what we need to do. Okay, so let's see what happens. That was the end of our turn. We'll go ahead and do all the stuff that we do at the end of the turn. There's nobody to worry about here anymore. I'm sure at some point we forgot to take this direct horror, so we'll go ahead and just add that now. Do a little cleaning up after I probably missed a few things last night, and we'll go ahead and add this doom. Oh, hold on. So we'll go ahead and do the upkeep phase. One there. Draw a card. Our Pathfinder now just kind of does nothing unless we need to evade somebody. All right, and we'll go ahead and go to the next round. So we're going to add one doom. We're going to draw an encounter card, and it is a test for agility. Hey, what was I just saying about that Pathfinder card? If you fail, take 1 damage and 1 horror, then disengage from each non-Nightgaunt enemy, engage with you, and move to a central location. I must have missed a step or something. Yeah, it seems like this wouldn't really do anything if there's no central location. Let's see. Let's look at our setup here real quick. Because we do have to use 2 encounter decks. I wonder if we needed to switch over once we got inside the mausoleum or something. Let's see. Okay. About 4. Start with encounter deck number 1 in the game. Keep encounter deck number 2 out of the game until instructed otherwise. Well, we weren't instructed otherwise, I don't think. So yeah, we weren't instructed otherwise yet. So we'll just assume that if we fail, we'll just take the damage and the horror, and that's it. So that's going to be bad because we're going to take 2 horror basically, and there's only so much we could take. So we kind of want to avoid taking this. We have only 2 agility, so we kind of don't mind pitching a couple things for it, or we can just do our revelation, take that 1 horror, no big deal. I think we might do this. We think we might use our ward of protection actually on this. So I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to think about it. Use my ward of protection. And cancel the revelation effect. Take 1 horror. No big deal, right? Okay. All right, so that's that. Let's go ahead and think about what we're going to do. This does have 3 clues on it. You cannot move from the creaking tunnels while there are clues at this location. And while at this location, you can't gain cards and you can't gain resources. Well, we already messed that up because we gain a card and a resource for upkeep, I believe. No, I think we're good. Okay. Well, we need to just take all these clues then, I guess. It's kind of with the torch. It's easy. We might just spend all 3 of our actions doing that. All right. Well, let's start. So with our 5 Intellect versus 2 with the torch. 5 versus 2 sounds pretty good to me. Let's shuffle this up. Here we go. This actually gives us a 6 versus 2. And with -3, it's a 3 versus 2. So we actually pass. So we get this clue. And Lita Chandler loves the tablets. We can actually search our deck and discard for a skill card and add it to our hand. We'll go ahead and get back our Unexpected Courage. And put that back in the Chaos bag. And we'll try it again. All right, let's see. We don't really care about boosting. So again, 5 versus 2. Easy peasy. And for our third action, 5 versus 2. Got a skull, which no big deal. So we'll go ahead and take that clue again. And Lita loves her skulls and tablets. So we're going to go ahead and search our deck. How many cards do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to have to discard. Oh no, that is our discard. We have 7 in our hand. So getting one more is going to be okay. Let's look at our discard. We don't have any skills in here, so we're going to have to look through our deck. Reveal to all. And what do we want? Well, I'm thinking that, well, we already have the overpowered, which is nice. We have pretty high intellect, so we might as well get the willpower boost. That's probably going to be the most helpful right now, I'm guessing. So we'll try that. All right, so that's the end of our turn. We do the things that we do at the end of our turn. Discard down to 8. Reset our actions. Upkeep. Draw a card. Actually, now we have to discard down to 8, so we'll get rid of this. And then we'll start a new round. Still doing all right. Let's get that encounter card. All right. Can't play assets or events. I was going to think about playing the Shriveling, but that's okay. That's what this card does best. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and spend 0 actions to move with Pathfinder to this location. After you enter the cellar, take 1 damage, which unfortunately we also have to take a direct horror. So that's maybe we need to think about getting rid of hypochondria. I mean, we have the Pathfinder, so that's that's going to be helping us. There's 2 clues. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to spend 2 actions, get rid of this. We don't want that to get out of hand. And then for our last action, we can go ahead and investigate here with our torch gives it 3 shroud. So 5 intellect versus 3 shroud. That's only -2, so we actually still pass because 2 is the agenda. And it actually is 6 because of this. So anyway, we pass. And again, Lita being pretty OP, we can grab another skill card if we want, and I think we want to. Could use that, I guess. Do we care? I mean, let's just not do it, I guess, for now. We don't want to run. We don't want to crowd our hand up too much. We want to kind of recur our Unexpected Courages, I think. All right, so that was our last action to investigate there. So now we have a lot of clues. I don't even know if it matters at this point if we have clues, but we'll see. We'll find out. All right, so that's the end of our turn. At the end of our turn, we discard Dissonant Voices, so that would be at the end of the round. So we'll go ahead and do the end of the round stuff. Ready this, upkeep, draw. We got to discard. Oh, okay. Burning Fervor into play with 2 damage on it. When your turn begins, lose 1 action. We can parlay and move 1 damage from it to us. Kind of a bummer, but it's okay. And then at least we don't have to discard down. So we'll go ahead and go to the next round. Add our Doom, which is going to make this advance. All right, infiltrating the cult was always a risk, and some of their numbers are now certainly looking for you, but you hope that it'll take some time before word of their compromised ranks is dispersed through the cult's network. For now, it seems that you have managed to outwit them. The strange visions continue, however, ever more convincing. You've come too far to pause now. The only way out is through. You can, you will, you must still finish your task. Remove encounter deck number 1 and its discard from the game. Cards from this encounter deck that are still in play remain in play. Bring the set aside encounter 2. There we go, answer to our question. And put another skull into the chaos bag. That seems like it's only helping us at this point. They're all going to be 3s, but still, I think we can handle it with our ritual candles. Okay, so we have this, which we're going to put in the chaos bag. We have our second encounter is not filled with anything. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video and then fill that up, and we'll come right back. Okay, we're back. So now we have our second encounter deck and our second encounter discard, so we're just going to have to remember to use that from here on out. Let's go ahead and bring out our next agenda card. Putting it somewhere around here. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. The Ghoul's Edge. What most concerns you now are these strange... No, you can no longer deny them. These are no visions, this is reality, or a form of. A bubble of some otherworldly origin is enveloping you, increasing in the veracity and tangibility of facets slipping through. What were once concrete paving stones might now be a dirty path, and any light around you seemingly contests with the cavernous gloom of unknown making. You can press back somewhat, but if this is what you think it is, you must make haste. And we can spend 2 clues to remove a Doom token from this agenda. That's what the clues are for, just to kind of give us more time. Okay. Let's keep going. At this point, I think the Pathfinder is going to do more work than trying to get the clues, so we might as well try to figure out how we can get a hold of this attachment. Even maybe there's something here in this room that'll tell us. Maybe not, because I think this is the Corset hallway. But anyway, okay, let's see. I'm going to go ahead and move back over here. That was a victory 1. I guess we could have done that, but it's okay. We do have an action taken away from us because of this. Okay, so let's flip this over. No clues, 1 shroud. Maybe we can move one of these over to us. Now, what the heck? Let's move both of them over. All right, so it's looking pretty bad. We still have Dr. Milan to kill if we need to. So that was all 3 of our actions. All right, let's go ahead and discard that. Need to upkeep. And see another round, we do have to discard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we can see right here, it's 9. So, what do we want to get rid of? This is going to come in handy. This is going to come in handy. This is going to come in handy. This, we probably don't care too much about this. So we're going to go and just discard that one. Okay. Reset our actions and place 1 Doom. Draw our encounter card. And now we're getting the monsters. It spawns with us. And after it engages us, we take a horror. Boo. All right. For our first action, we're going to just try to fight this thing. We do have 4 strength against monsters, which is great. We have overpower, and then we can play if it bleeds to heal 1 horror. Maybe we need to wait until we get like a 2 horror monster, if those exist in this deck. I'm not sure. I didn't really peek. Does have 3 health. Yuck. We could try to evade and then throw the shriveling down and attack. And then next round, it won't attack us, and then we can finish it off. That's not a bad idea. So we can muster up 4, 5, evade. Poor use of dodge, probably. Or we could just try to fight it, 2 times normally, and then use a dodge and then fight it again normally. All right, let's just try to overpower it once. That's our first action. So I'm gonna overpower it. We actually have 4, 5, 6 strength because of her +2 when attacking monsters. So 6 versus 3 is pretty good. So we're gonna go ahead and shuffle that, and we hit him. So we get him for 1 damage, and we get to draw a card. Discard that. There's another dodge, pretty cool. Okay, so we'll go ahead and for our second action, we'll try to hit him again, this time with our Unexpected Courage. So we have 4, 5, 6 again. So 6, and we actually have 7. Minus 3 is 4. And that still beats him. Not to mention we can get back our, let's go ahead and get back our overpower. Probably going to need it. I'll put that in the gas bag. We must have put that in there by accident, dang it. Okay. So another damage. And third action, we'll hit him again with our overpower. So that's another 6 versus 3. Let's see what happens. Shuffle this again. Oh. There we go. Got him. Discard that. Discard him. Actually, technically, I guess he would go into the second encounter discard. All right. So it took our whole turn, which sucks, but we got him. And hopefully we can get the shriveling out before another one pops up. That's the only thing we can hope for, really. That's gonna be the best thing to do. I mean, otherwise we can just dodge them and stuff like that. So I mean, we have options. And we might as well, before our turn ends, after he dies, I think we can do this. We're gonna go ahead and just use Pathfinder to get over here. So that has 2 of those, and then it doesn't have any like when you enter effect, so we'll read that in a second. Okay, we'll reset our actions. We're ready. We'll draw a card, gain a resource. Oh, not bad. We can actually probably play both of these next round if there's no enemies. Even if there is enemies, we might as well play one out, use a dodge, and then we can fight it. Okay, so we'll add the Doom. Draw an encounter from second encounter. And attach your location, gets +2 Shroud. That's a bummer, but that's okay, because we're not really investigating. We're just trying to do these tests. Okay. Okay, so this one says that it's an action test 2. If you pass, attach a liminal asset to this location. During this skill test, we can spend an action to add strength. So we have a bunch of, basically have a bunch of all of our actions. So we can really do that easily. And after we leave, we have to take a horror, of course. So got to really think about managing this horror. We can place some on the torch. Okay, let's just try it because we need to be able to put this thing on here. And after it attached to location, we flip it over. So let's see what happens. So we'll test two for our first action, test 2 strength, and I guess we're gonna can we ditch anything for this? Not really. I mean, kinda, but we'll just spend 2 actions on it just to give us that 4 versus 2. So we actually have 5 versus 2, and cool. So we got it. All right, so we'll go ahead and attach this flipped card, and it's now a pendant beast. It enters play under the scenario's control, and I guess it still attaches here, and we can test 1 fight, and if we pass, deal 1 damage to the beast. When pendant beast takes 1 damage, deal horror to a parasite asset. That's not this. Oh, we totally missed that. We could have probably used this to do something. So we probably have to do that in a second. So there's no point in doing this because we don't have a parasitic asset right now. But what we should probably do is just head back here. So we'll go head back here. And before we do this test 4, I think I'm going to throw down a shriveling with my last action in order to deal with any potential enemies that might be coming up. Let's move our stuff over here. Okay, that was our last action. Let's reset our actions, ready everything. Do upkeep, draw a card, and Vicious Blow is awesome. We can potentially do 3 damage now. Okay, so here we go. We'll go ahead and add a Doom, draw from the second encounter deck, test 3 agility. For each point you fail by, take 1 damage. That's a bummer because we don't have a lot of agility, but we might want to pitch a dodge actually for this. We can't take a ton of damage. Let's go ahead and pitch that dodge for 3 agility versus 3. Not the best odds. So 4 agility versus 3. It's -3. 4 minus 3 is 1. So we actually fail by 2. That's the difference. So we fail by 2. We have to take 2 damage. That is not great. We could kill Dr. Milan. We've been forgetting to use his ability anyway to gain resources. So he hasn't been doing much. I think we're going to kill him and take 1 normal one. Okay, and then since we got that, we can go ahead and look at our deck or discard for a skill card. And I think we're going to actually get the... What do we have in our discard? Let's go ahead and get Manual Dexterity. So we have the Manual Dexterity now. That's going to hopefully help us with this test right here. Okay, so we did all that, and we took our 2 damage. That's going to go on the second discard. All right, for our first action, we're going to do this. Test 4. If you pass the discard, spend 1 action for +2. We already have 4. We're going to spend... Whoops, did I do Manual Dexterity? I really did not mean to do that. I meant to try to find Perception, of course, because we were going to use it right now. We're going to use Perception right now to boost us up to a 6. So we have 6 versus 4. That brings us to minus 2, perfect, because we actually had a 7, and yeah, okay. We'll go ahead and put that back in the chaos bag, and we'll go and flip this over. We also have to draw a card with this. We're running out of cards to draw. Consume, Egress, Theft of Essence, Sigil, and Parasitic. Consume Egress enters play under the scenario's control. Attach it to a threshold asset. We'll just move over. Forced after Consume Egress takes 1 or more horror. Deal damage to a liminal asset. As this card leaves play, take all its horror and place that horror on the asset that it was attached to. So this says, if you pass, deal 1 damage to Pendant Beast. When Pendant Beast takes 1 damage, deal 1 horror to Parasitic Asset. And then this one says, after Consume, Egress takes 1 or more horror, deal damage to a liminal asset. That's this. So it seems to me that this is going to take 1 horror, then this is going to take 1 damage, and this is going to take 1 horror, then this is going to take 1 damage, back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, unless he wrote it wrong. And then it just says that after this card leaves play, take all of its horror and place that horror on the asset that it was attached to. So I'm assuming that that's going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. This is just going to add 7 horror. So, and I'm kind of assuming that he didn't mean for this to happen, but that's the way that I'm reading it. Yeah, and so this is going to get destroyed along with this, which is strange, but that's okay. So, I mean, we're going to destroy those. And then we're going to go ahead and do what we did before, like that, like that. And we did that test already, which we passed. So then it says, if you pass, attach it to this location. And then we're going to go ahead and flip this. Sorry for the confusion. I'm just like not here today or something. So anyway, when the Zealot seal is put into play, attach it to your location, then remove all of the locations. And we're supposed to remove this horror, so it seems kind of random that we would even care. But anyway, when the Zealot seal is put into play, attach it to your location, then remove all of the locations and cards and tokens from those locations. So now this is attached to this location, and everything's gone, even our clues. And now we have a barrier right in the parlor, which we can finally advance. The ghouls have all been repelled back into their shadowy realm, a fierce, bright barrier now placed between them and the town of Arkham. The final layer's inhabitants will not be able to spew forth as planned. Their numbers shall not lend strength to those dark rituals which are set to take place in the woods mere hours from now. You finally allow yourself to breathe a sigh of relief. You sit down cross-legged in the center of the room, acutely focusing your mental energies at the delicate balance of your fiery anti-portal, waiting for dawn. You did it. Your doom shall not come for you this night. You have successfully managed to trap the ghouls inside their lair. The malevolent forces threatening Arkham will surely be greatly weakened. So we get to read Resolution 1. Where is it? Resolution 1. You've settled into a steady rhythm, found your pace. The harmonics are just right. Wait, what was that noise? Is that the people who... No, no! How could they have come through? They mustn't interfere with this barrier. And I can't help but look at Resolution 2, which is a bunch of symbols. So that's pretty cool. Okay, so overall, my final thoughts are that this is a very thematic win for me. I loved being able to step into Lita Chandler's shoes for a bit, and I loved all the thought and care that went into all the art, all the fluff, which we didn't really read any of the location fluff or anything like that, if there was any. Um, and I loved having to progress through the act cards and talking to some of the people. One thing, it was a little tedious and kind of maybe pointless to have so many act cards. I think it would have been better if some of them were consolidated and we didn't have to kind of just go through the act deck and I appreciate that there was a lot of story. This was very story heavy. It was very well written, very enjoyable. But some of it could have been kind of pared down a little bit so that it didn't feel like I had to read something, do one action, and then read something and then do one action. You know, that's what it kind of felt like at the end of sort of the first half before you enter the mausoleum, at least. I loved all the characters. Everything felt like they had a life of their own, from the professor, the crazy professor, to the um, guy in the graveyard, the grave digger guy. The end here was a little bit tedious. I wish that there was a little bit more. Um, I liked that there was the combining element of putting things together. I've been waiting for somebody to do sort of like a survival type scenario where we have to combine items like you know, a la Minecraft or something. And so this kind of had that feeling to it. It was just really confusing for me for some reason. Maybe it's just me. Maybe somebody else will have an easier time. But having to go back and forth and around and here and there to discover what you have to do is very irritating. And that it would have been better maybe served as part of the act card. That just so that it's right there, right up front. This is what you have to do. Go do it. I appreciate the fact that there was a puzzle. I didn't appreciate the fact that I had to rack my brain in order to solve, not just to solve the puzzle, but to solve like what the heck is going on. I don't want to, people don't want to be confused. They want to be able to feel like they're progressing. Is all I'm trying to say. So, you know, other than that last kind of hiccup, which may or may not have been my fault, I think this was a great scenario. It was a little lengthy. It might have been better served as two parts. The first part being before the mausoleum, the second part being after the mausoleum. And it kind of gives you more of an appreciation for how Matt Newman has designed some of the scenarios, because they're kind of like short and sweet and nice and tight, and you can chain them together like that in an overarching story. So that would be my recommendation, is to kind of split this up into two maybe, or if you feel like it's getting lengthy, try to split them up. Overall, I highly recommend that you try this. You can download it through ArkhamCentral.com if you want to get the actual files to print it up, or you can download the Lackey CCG plugin, where I have I'm going to be continuing to update Lackey CCG with fan-made content, maybe new fan-made investigators, or even fiction. If you just want to submit to me some of your fiction, fan fiction for Arkham Horror, the world of Arkham Horror, then I'd happily read it and maybe put up some graphics or something. So feel free to email me. All the information is down below. Thank you so much for watching. This has been Miskatonic Test Lab, and I'll see you next time.